Hey MCARBO brother, I'm Chris Nelson, President of MCARBO. Really excited to introduce a new trigger spring kit for your Mossberg SA20, SA28. Now we've officially got a spring kit for every one of the Mossberg shotguns. You guys requested this. We had about 5 or 6 requests for it, and then lately we had a Mossberg employee actually contact us asking if we'd make one. So it's really awesome to hear all the feedback and input and the request. We love those because that actually gives us the motivation, inspiration to put this stuff together. So now we've got a solution for every one of the Mossberg shotguns out there. Thank you to you guys. Really excited about this one. It's about a 40% trigger pull reduction. Really fast, simple installation, about 10 minutes. Let's jump on over the tabletop, put this baby in. Parts and tools needed for this build: the Mossberg SA20, SA28 trigger spring kit by MCARBO, a hammer, synthetic grease with PTFE, a 1/16 inch punch, 1/8 inch punch, block of wood with a hole in it. And as always guys, make sure you're wearing iPro. Before we get started, let's go ahead and check our firearms together, make sure they're clear. Check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine tube. Shotgun's clear. Let's see what kind of factory trigger pull we're starting with. 4 pounds, 8.1 ounces. Let's go ahead and take one more to confirm. 4 pounds, 2.9 ounces. We begin the disassembly by ensuring our hammer is locked back on our shotgun, so go ahead and charge your bolt real quick. Now position your takedown pin over that hole in the block of wood. We're going to tap out the takedown pin. See the takedown pin, set that aside. Now go ahead and turn your shotguns upright, pull up and out on the trigger guard. There you go. Now we're going to focus on the trigger assembly. Now position your trigger hinge pin over the hole in the block of wood, and you can push out with your 1/16 inch punch, or use your hammer if you need to, tap it through. Alright, go ahead and have your finger on top of it because it's under tension, so have your finger on top of that sear right there. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and pull it out, and this is when we can get a good look at it. Alright, you can see the complexity of this trigger with the built-in sear. Here's your sear right here, and here's your sear spring right here. So you can see that. Very similar to the Ruger Mini 14 setup. And now here is your trigger return spring, and this is what we're going to replace. So we're going to go ahead and compare these side by side. So we'll go ahead and set our trigger right here. This is our OEM factory trigger return spring. Set that down. Let's grab the MCARBO trigger return spring and let's throw it in and see how it compares. Alright, so here's the MCARBO spring here on the right. Alright, so I got the MCARBO spring here on the right. You can see how springy that is. Look at that, awesome. And then I got the stiffer factory spring here on the left. So you can see how they compare. This is a really great improvement in that you're only replacing the trigger return spring. There's really no risk reward here, it's all reward. You're going to get a much lighter, smoother trigger pull, not compromise any reliability whatsoever. There's no chance of it. So we're literally replacing this factory heavy spring with a nice, crisp, custom trigger return spring. So who doesn't want a lighter trigger pull? And it's just a CYA thing. They got to do it from the factory. So if you're an experienced shooter and you've got the discipline, then you're definitely qualified, more than qualified, to do this. So here's the trigger. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our synthetic grease with PTFE, put a little bit on the bottom of this trigger return spring, drop it right into that recess on the trigger that houses the actual trigger return spring. Now we're going to go ahead and take our trigger and drop it back into the assembly. All right, very simple and straightforward what we want to do, and that's a great thing too. We've got that grease on it, it holds that spring perfectly, but you can see right down there, that flat spot is where we want that spring to mate up. Okay, so it's resting on it right now, and it is a little confusing. There's a ton of holes here, so it's easy to get them a little mixed up, but what you want to do is this big hole here, all right, you line that up, take your 1/8 inch punch and stick that in there, and that instantly will line up your other hole, which is the trigger hinge pin. All right, and the hinge pin's still inside that hole in the block of wood. Go ahead and we'll drop it right in. Perfect. All right, go ahead and remove the 1/8 inch punch. Now you can take your smaller 1/16 inch punch and just press that pin a little bit further in. You just want it balanced as much as you can. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, now let's go ahead and put the rest of it back together. So now we have the remaining 3 pieces of the trigger linkage to put back together. So we'll take this top portion, all right, turn it around here. We'll also take the spring that goes underneath of it, and that's captured inside the trigger assembly right here at the top. Drop that spring right in, and then we'll take the top portion of our trigger linkage and line it up like so. That little tab is going to go down into the trigger assembly, and then we're line up the holes so we can drop in the hinge pin. Line up the holes, drop in the hinge pin, presses right in. All right, make sure that you've got enough on both sides. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so all of our pins, good time to look at all of our pins. Look at the whole trigger assembly, make sure that it's all put together appropriately, nothing's out of place, everything looks correct, functions nicely. Look at that. All right, feels great already. You can even throw the safety on, check that now, rather than waiting. Okay, perfect. Now the other thing we're going to do is put a little bit of synthetic grease on the inside engagement surfaces of this hammer. Okay, so that when it engages with the sear and that other engagement point on the trigger, it's going to be nice and lubricated. All right, so it's just adding a little extra. Doesn't hurt. Actually gives us a little extra performance, which is the whole point of what we're doing here. That's fantastic. Let's go ahead and put this baby in. Now let's go ahead and turn the shotgun upright, and we're going to drop in the trigger guard. Go ahead and make sure you lock the hammer back like so. We're going to drop it right in to the receiver. Make sure it's all lined up, flush. Now we're going to look at the holes, line up the holes here. We're going to drop in our takedown pin. All right, give it a little tap. Perfect. Now that we've got our shotguns back together, let's go ahead and do a quick function check. So go ahead and place it on safe. Pull the trigger. Nothing. Good. Place it on fire. Pull the trigger. Nice. Let's measure this trigger pull. Now let's see what kind of modified trigger pull we got. 2 pounds, 10.5 ounces. Let's take one more to confirm. 2 pounds, 8.9 ounces. Nice. Well, there you have it, guys. A fantastic solution for your Mossberg SA20, SA28 shotgun from 4 3/4 pounds down to 2 3/4 pounds. Fantastic solution, about a 40% trigger pull reduction. You can't beat it. Really simple, fast, 10-minute installation. As I said before, you guys gave us the idea. One of the Mossberg techs actually called asking for a solution. Now we've got one for every one of the Mossberg shotguns on the market, which is pretty cool. Really excited about this, guys. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for your ideas, your support. It's phenomenal. If you're not on the forum already, please jump on over and join this group. It's a fantastic group of people like me, like you. We're all the same. We love guns, we love shooting, love America, love freedom. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for your ideas and your support, and as always, happy shooting.